I grew up in a small town surrounded by forests and empty farmland. Like most small towns, it had stories. Most of them were nonsense. At least, that's what I believed until I was 17. Everyone knew about the house at the end of Mill Road. The road itself was barely used anymore. It stretched several miles beyond town before disappearing into thick woods. At the very end stood an old two-story house. Nobody knew exactly when it was built. Nobody knew who owned it. The strangest thing was that nobody ever seemed to go there. Not delivery trucks, not maintenance workers, nobody. Yet somehow the house never looked abandoned. The grass stayed short, the windows stayed clean, and every few months someone would claim they saw lights inside. My friends and I joked about it for years. One summer evening, we finally decided to drive out there ourselves. There were 4 of us. Jake was driving. Mason sat in the front. I was in the back with my friend Tyler. The entire drive was filled with stupid jokes. Nobody was scared. We thought it would be funny. That changed the moment we saw the house. It appeared between the trees as the sun was setting. The place looked wrong. Not haunted, not damaged, just wrong. The paint looked new. The porch looked clean. But there were no tire tracks, no signs of anyone living there. It looked like a house that existed without people. We parked near the road and walked toward it. The closer we got, the quieter everything became. The wind stopped. The insects stopped. Even the birds were gone. For the first time that evening, nobody was talking. Tyler tried the front door. Locked. We walked around the house. Every curtain was closed. Every window was dark. Then Mason stopped walking. "What is that?" he asked. We followed his flashlight. There were dozens of footprints in the dirt, all leading toward the house, none leading away. We stared at them. The footprints came from different directions, different shoe sizes, different shapes, but every single one ended at the front porch. None returned. Jake laughed nervously. "Okay, that's creepy." Nobody disagreed. We should have left right then. Instead, we kept exploring. Behind the house stood a small shed. The door hung slightly open. When we stepped inside, we found something strange. The shed was completely empty except for one thing: a wall covered with photographs. Hundreds of them. Every photo showed the house. Some looked decades old, others looked recent. As we looked closer, Tyler suddenly pointed toward one picture. "Wait." My stomach dropped. The photo had been taken only a few days earlier, and standing near the road were 4 people. Us. The exact clothes we were wearing, the exact positions, the exact moment. Somehow, there was a photograph of us arriving at the house before we had arrived. Nobody said a word. I remember hearing my own heartbeat. Jake immediately said we were leaving. Nobody argued. We practically ran back toward the car. Halfway there, Tyler stopped. He was staring at the second-floor window. I followed his gaze. Someone was standing there, watching us. The figure didn't move, didn't wave, didn't react. Just stood perfectly still behind the glass. The sun had almost disappeared by then, making it impossible to see their face. We jumped into the car and left. None of us spoke during the drive home. The next morning, we agreed not to tell anyone. A week later, Tyler called me. He sounded terrified. He asked if I remembered the photographs. Of course I did. Then he told me something I wish I never heard. He had zoomed into one of the pictures we took that night. One showing the second-floor window. There was a face inside. Not unusual, except the face belonged to him. Not someone who looked similar. Him. Tyler emailed me the image. When I opened it, I felt sick. It was definitely him, standing in the upstairs window watching us. The problem was that Tyler had been standing next to me when the photo was taken. Over the next month, strange things started happening. Jake began receiving empty calls late at night. Mason claimed someone was standing near his backyard every evening. Tyler became obsessed with the house. He spent hours searching old records. Eventually, he found something. The property had officially been abandoned for over 50 years. According to county documents, the owners disappeared in 1974. Every member of the family vanished. No bodies were ever found. The case remained unsolved. A few days later, Tyler went back to the house alone. We never heard from him again. Police searched the woods for weeks. They found his car near Mill Road, his phone, his wallet, everything except Tyler. Months passed. Life slowly returned to normal, until one night. I was looking through old photos on my laptop. One image showed our group standing near the house on that first.
I almost closed it. Then I noticed something. In the second-floor window stood a person, watching us. At first I assumed it was the same figure we'd seen before. Then I zoomed in and realized something horrifying. The person in the window wasn't Tyler, wasn't Jake, wasn't Mason. It was me. And unlike everyone else in the photograph, the version of me in the window was smiling.